Robot. If you're new to the channel, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. We're about to crack heads and twist caps. And as always, we're going to keep it clean, YouTube. Let's run that new intro for you while we get people time to come in.
Young L on the beat.
Robot. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. About kids and caps. And as always, we're gonna keep it clean, YouTube. Right. So let's get that screen going. Sharing that screen. Who else is doing it? Never have it been made so clear. So we're talking about the Anunnakis to the Neterus, right? Or the Neterus, right? We're talking about that bloodline. We're tracing it down, right? And it comes down from the Anunnakis. The bloodline comes down from the Anunnakis from the side of Enki, right? So keep it in mind, you already know about Anu, who became On in ancient Kemet, On, right? And it triggers down. The names, the language is where the confusion came in at. We have to break all that down. All right, now let's go back. Keep in mind that we, the Anunnakis, became known as the Riskians, who lived on a planet called Risk, which had 19 planets and 3 suns. Where eventually, to make a long story short, Risk got attacked. Well, these 3 suns, radiation or ultraviolet lights was shining through the planet. So we had to start evacuating our planet. Right? Here's what some of the Riskians look like. The Gigi. Some of the Gigi. Like I say, ride by, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. There's supposed to be some on this dang on mic, because right when I get on this mic, my throat starts itching. I'm telling you. All right, so here's the 3 suns, 19 planets. You got Risk right here. Well, the way Risk rotate, the suns was shining in, starting to cause a depletion and it causing a disease because we were working on in the process of working on the ascension technology. Let me go back because I got to explain one more thing. At this time, there were 19 tribes, 19 different families, right? That were crossbreeds between the Riskians and Anarchies, mixing with different species around the galaxy, right? But when this attack happened by the reptilians, we had to start evacuating these planets, and these beings had to go to other star systems. That's why they in this star system, Eliun is in what they call in the star system Lyra, where they say that the humans type extraterrestrials migrated from. Right? They got part of the story, but they're not giving. They don't got the whole story. We migrated from like say we go get that tape called the Family Journey. We show you how we got to Earth and then this solar system, and then we migrated from this solar system and began branching out, building other systems, star systems. But a lot of us in the 19 families, it end up breaking up again, a family split. Because remember, we told you a family split happened a long time ago with Anu's father and Shaw, who was the Anu fifth Anu. A split happened between him and his brother. Well, at this point, another split happened between Enlil seed and several other seeds, Inky seed, right? Inky seed chose to leave and go to Orion, right? It was keep in mind about the reptilians, the humanoid reptilians, Tanushnam, who came to Riggs to blow it up and use the aerosol bomb to start try to blow the ozone layer up, right? So we had to get up out of there, right? Keep in mind, Murdoch is Anu's grandson. He's Inky's son. Murdoch is Inky's oldest son. He's Anu's oldest grandson, right? Inky's son is Murdoch. Murdoch has several different names. All right, so you got Murdoch who becomes Melchizedek, right? And he's given the rulership or throne of Nubaru, right? I believe at this time is when Anu's testing him to pass the throne down to Murdoch, who becomes later in ancient Kemet Amen. We about to break that down, right? But it's still connected to, and we're gonna try to go stuff in too, right? Okay, so some of them left on these fleets because Nubaru wasn't just one ship. Nubaru is a whole fleet of these ships, right? So it's thousands, even if not more than that, it's thousands of Nubarus, right? So they left on these different ships to go to different galaxies, star systems, which you refer to as star systems, to be whole galaxies because we're dealing on light years here, right? So some of the people left and migrated to the Pleiades, right? And the people that left Eliun and migrated to the Pleiades, they changed the way they look. They took on different body types because they migration they was in the midst of ascending, but they had to come down to another vibration to the fifth dimension. So the people when they got here, depending on what type of star they landed on, what type of planet and environment and incarnation they had to, what type of avatar they had to build to survive on whatever planet, they began to design avatars and conducive with the planet and the star that they lived under. So they took different life forms or different types of forms, right? These beings when they came to play teas, and then some of them went to that's out of order right there. We're gonna get back to Osiris. Some of them went to the Arcturus star system. Some of these Anunnakis or these Riskians or different species with 18 different or 19 different tribes. Some of them broke off and went to the Arcturus star system and the Big Dipper. Keep in mind, there's billions and trillions of billions of stars out here. 300 billion stars. You only live under one star, and you think that you alone. You got to wake up at this point in time. All right, here's the Arcturus. And that's planets rotating around all these star systems. We're about to point that out on another tape with the space engine program. Here's another picture of a Taurus. The Taurus star system is where some of these beings went. All right. Now, Murdoch side and the Inky side, they chose to go to Orion, the 3 stars in Orion's belt. It's really 9 stars here. We're gonna break that down. It's like 5 rotating around this one, and then it's this one right here is one big huge star, and then it's like 2 rotating around this one. Right. So it's really 9 stars in Orion's belt. Then it's around this middle planet, middle sun. It's like about 8, 9, 10 planets rotating around it. We're gonna get into that too. We're gonna show you that on, like I said, that space engine tape. All right, here's Orion. Now they went and set up here, Murdoch now. And this when they became known as the connected with the Goa'uld, right? The Goa'uld coming from Orion, right? Inky's people. All right. So we're just showing you Orion. The galaxy is on Orion's belt. Right. When you look up and see the 3 stars, then you got Aldebarans. We already told you about Aldebarans, Betelgeuse, Rajal. These are what grays. It's a couple groups of grays here and there. Then the Aldebarans come from there. All right. Keep in mind, Alelu was Anu's brother. And Alelu had a daughter named Damkina. Damkina is Murdoch's mother. Inky is his father, and Damkina is his mother. So that makes him a grandson of Anu and a grandson of Alelu. So keep in mind that connection. All right, keep in mind, Inky had 4 sons, the 4 sons that made the split to go to Orion, right? So you got Murdoch, which is the son, first son. Then you got uh Nergal, which is the brother of Melchizedek Murdoch, who become Amen. Then you got Ningazita, who becomes Tahuti. And keep in mind, like Amen, Tahuti, a lot of these are titles, right? That other people lay claim to after the fact. But we got Murdoch, Melchizedek, Nergal, Ningazita, who is Tahuti, and then you got their little brother, which is Osiris or Osar, right? Who also is, they call him Damusi, right? So these 4 brothers mainly is the ancient Kemetic side, but mostly is Murdoch, Tahuti, and Asir. That Asir, Osiris, right? He went set up. These 3 went set up the ancient Kemetic schools. They was instrumental in the ancient Kemetic schools. Um, Nergal was instrumental in helping Neteru fight against Murdoch. Right, they was beefing with each other. Right, these 2 brothers. All right, so Neteru and Nergal, they got together and built these bombs, uh, uh, these weapons of mass destruction. They be dropping them on Murdoch, right? But they didn't take them out, right? Keep in mind, Murdoch had a laboratory set up in Babylon where he was building all this ancient technology. Where the Anunnakis was building all this technology. And one of the things that he was building was the Stargate to try to get up into where they can have these put on several different planets and then just walk through it. You know how the Stargate, or we'll break that down on the Stargate and Raw tapes, right? We got to re-edit those tapes, right? He also was creating like instruments like the sarcophagus where they can lay in and heal their avatars, right? This sarcophagus plus this generator. This right here is a generator that can power the whole city of New York with this small generator, right? And it can last for hundreds of years, hundreds of years. They know about this technology, that they found and dug up in ancient Kemet. That's why they was over there digging in ancient Kemet, because they knew that the Anunnaki technology was passed down to these Egyptian people. They call them Egyptians. All right, this is liquid Naquata element 125 that the ancient Egyptians were using to power their weapons and equipment. These Go'us or these Natharus. All right. Keep in mind they were taking avatars. So Murdoch becomes Ra. Murdoch becomes Ra later on as an avatar when they come back to the planet. Right. Murdoch also is Amen. It becomes Amen. Right. This is so the Anunnaki connection to the ancient Kemetic connection is, we breaking it down for you. Murdoch becomes Amen. Amen Ra. Right. And keep in mind, because you got the Old Testament is dealing with the Anunnaki coming down, right? And then the New Testament is really dealing with ancient Egypt teachings, ancient Egyptian teachings, where it's dealing with the horizon of the sun, Haru, the Immaculate Conception, all that, right? But keep in mind, most religious people are saying Amen at the end of their prayers. Islam, Judaism, and Christianity say Amen at the end of their prayers. So who are they worshiping? Because Murdoch took over the religious sect of the thing. All right, keep in mind before Murdoch took over, they was in the Taurus phase is when Mother Ninti and Enlil and them was ruling. Then definitely missed one. If those start itching, as soon as I start getting on this mic, so it's gotta be some on this mic. Hey, all right, so Murdoch becomes Ra, and he takes over during the age of the Ram, right? Because we're still dealing with zodiacs during the time. These Anunnakis counting time on the zodiac every 2100 years, every cycle. But during the cycle, the 2100-year rule of the 2100 cycle, the 2100-year cycle of Aquarius, Aries, that's the time when Ra ruled, or Amen, or Atum, right? We're gonna go into those because it become all those different titles, or those titles to Murdoch. But keep in mind the Ram, the age of the Ram, is when Murdoch take over as Amen. All right, Amen Ra, right? Amen Ra. So you see the Ram, you be starting to see the Ram. It's the same thing when the Bible, when the when the Israelites came down and they had came out of Egypt, right? And then they started worshiping the calf, made a calf after Moses did his thing, right? They made a calf, like he went up to go see God, right? Which was really inky. And then they come down, right? And then they make a calf to worship Enlil's rule, because Enlil was ruled during the sign of Taurus, right? But they was in the age of the ram. That's why the Israelites was blowing the ram horn and the ram this and the ram in the bush. All this is tied into Murdoch and Amen, right? Amen, right? Y'all say at the end of the prayers, Amen. They go to Ram, right? It's dealing with the age of the Ram, the age of Aries, right? More questions than answers. All right, so you already know about the zodiac frames when you go into the different cycles, right? And like I say, Murdoch was ruling during the time of Aries. It's when he took over, which they set up the order of Melchizedek, right? Right, and he became the first Tahuti. Tahuti really is a title, right? He became the first Tahuti. Melchizedek, the Amen, right? The halls of Amenti, right? Where they set up the schools in the center of the earth. And they became, because keep in mind, Anu gave us the order to come back here and teach the people and set up schools and educate the humans or the Lulu Amalus on the level of us, then to leave. So we set up the schools. Murdoch began setting up the schools. Now keep in mind, it depends on what perspective you're looking from. Is Murdoch a bad guy? Because our Nana thinks Murdoch is a bad guy. The couple Enlil don't like Murdoch. Neteru, his brother Nergal, they don't really like Murdoch at first. So they think Murdoch is a bad guy, but it depends on because he ruled with an iron fist and he had a dictatorship where when he saw the reptilians were using religion, he set up his own window where he took over the religious game, right? And took over the game. But like I said, they set up this order called the ancient priesthood called the Order of Melchizedek. This is one of our symbols. I'm a part of this priesthood. It's the 23rd elder. So now the phone. It says the royal priesthood, the Order of Melchizedek, right? The Order of Melchizedek. All this about to be made clear here soon. What's going down? All right, the Order of Melchizedek. You already know about the Order, ancient mystery, the Order of Melchizedek. It says, "Thou art a priest forever." Songs 110. After the Order of Melchizedek, right? See, I'm after the Order of Melchizedek. And keep in mind, we're dealing with the three sons in ancient Kemet, right? You're dealing with Atun, right, which is Ra, and then you're dealing with Atun, which is Ra, and then you're dealing with Amun, which is Ra. All three phases of the sun, which is the same, which they end up worshiping Murdoch as the son of God, right? Well, Amun as the son of God, Ra, which is all the same person. He changed his name 3 different times in culture. He become Amun, like the hidden one, because he was on the run from people looking for him for his part in one Osiris or Osar dead. Where he didn't want him dead, he just told his people to capture him and bring him to him, but they didn't do that. They actually killed him. They actually killed him when they locked him in the coffin and threw him in the Nile. All right, so these are the three phases, right? You got Amun, Atum, and then it's supposed to be Atum, and then Ra, which is all the same person, Murdoch, right? The halls of Amenti, which was school set up by Murdoch, Tahuti, the four sons of Enki, who became known as Ptah. Right, the halls of Amenti is the fifth dimensional school that's set up in the center of the earth. Right, where only certain beings can access this. Because you can go straight to the Ashkastic records. It's actually a library, a whole bunch of stuff inside of this the halls of Amenti. And where they store the meat tablets. They had the Anunnakis had the meat tablets with all their knowledge on it, and it was passed down from king to king or rulership to rulership. But like inside of the halls of Amenti where you can go and do the esoteric research and study, right? What Tahuti them set up and Murdoch now. All right. So you got the craft of Amen, which they get this masonry from because keep in mind these 200 fallen were under the rulership of Murdoch, right? And you got the craft, the Amen Ra was the eye of Ra, the son of God, Murdoch's eye, Amen, right? It's gonna come to you in a minute. Right? Becomes like an order called it's the same thing as the order of Melchizedek, but they call it the order of Amen Ra, the Amen Ra. Now keep in mind, Amen Ra actually that term, the Amen Ra craft or Amen Ra actually goes back farther than the term Melchizedek. Right? Keep in mind. They changed that to Melchizedek, but it's always really the order go back to the craft for Amen Ra. Right? And this right here, what it's all about the builders and the intellectual beings, the enlightened ones. Right here's the master teacher Ashra Kwasi performing some of the rituals on some of the brothers, bringing them to the craft over in ancient Kemet. Right, we already broke that down for you. Keep in mind, Enki, right? Enki becomes Ptah, right? Enki becomes Ptah in ancient Kemet, right? And that's where they stole the Oscars and all that from. You already know about that part, right? Ptah. And keep in mind that these beings took avatars. These beings had different avatars. Enki had like 9 different avatars. So here's what he looked like the Ptah when he took the Twa for his he had a Twa avatar. See, we got Hakeem in the background going ham. All right, so he also later they took, like I say, it's, every 200 years they were taking avatars, and they had different at the time. Some of them had more than one avatar. It's another one of Enki avatars when he birthed Imhotep. Right, so you got the earrings in both ears. All right, the Ptah, right, Enki. Say he came out of the primordial waters. Why? Because he was birthed up out of the cloning tubes. The cloning tubes. Also, keep in mind, Anubis is a title that by 4 different people had. The first person to have this title was Enki. And what it is, it was he who is over Anu's abyss. Like Anubis, right? So they had what these Anunnakis had is this big, as Raw Hayes broke it down. They had this big fire pit with brimstone and fire in it. And what they would do is when the Lulu Amalus or whoever when want to do what they said, when they want to be punished, they'll throw them in this brimstone pit, right? So whoever then the underworld it became part down into the underworld. They set it up in the down in the underworld, what they call hell, right? But they had it on the surface at first in aura, and then when they eventually moved it to the center of the earth. And the person that became over that, and the person that was over that became known as the Anubis, the one who's over Anu's abyss. And the first person that held that title was Enki. He became known as Israel, the angel of death, or the boatman, the one who carries the souls from one world to the next. Right? Then it passed down from him to his son Nergal. He became Anubis. And then Satuk became Anubis at one point, and Anubis, Ishtar's Adana's son, Anubis, became the last Anubis. Right, we're gonna break that down later on another tape when we break down the Anana tape. Also, Mother Ninti is Hathor in ancient Kemet. Keep in mind, she had 2 daughters by Murdoch, Mad and Mud. We're gonna break that side down now. Right now, we're just tracing you down to Mene's side of the family. But keep in mind, Mother Ninti, these are the same people. The Anunnakis and Neteru really are the same people. So Mother Ninti becomes Hathor. We already broke that down, right? And she breastfed the first mortal human being. This right here is before Inanna. She breastfed the first classified human being, right? She also had a son with Murdoch as well during this time when these avatars named the first Haru, Heb Haru, the elder, Heb Haru, the old elder, right? So they had a son, her and Hathor and Ra had a son, right? And it's also a symbolic of her breastfeeding the first classified human being after the breeding process. Right, so keep in mind there's a difference between Haru the old elder and then Haru the young elder. Right, the old elder is his mother is Mother Ninti, Hathor. The young elder, his mother is Anana. Anana got the steps through Big Mama's chair on her head, and then she got like the horns with the sun, right? Or the got the calf, the Taurus, age of Taurus. Because the age of Taurus is when they did this breeding of the Homo sapien or the Homo erectus to the Homo sapien. So the age of Taurus is when they did that. And then when Nana bred the first the bloodline of these demigods, uh she was the queen of heaven and earth, and this what they represented, that the seat of the queen of heaven and earth, Inanna, the one they got in the Vatican that Raw Hayes tell you about. Got like a little distractions going on in the background with Hakeem crying. All right, so you see, that's Mother Ninty. All right, so keep in mind, Inky also had another son by his niece, named Ariska Gale, and they birthed a son named Ningazita, who became Tahuti. The Tahuti really that's the most got the most recognition with the title Tahuti, right? All right, Tahuti also is known as Ningazita. Like I said, Ningazita. This is a statue of him going back in ancient Kemet. You can see he's sitting just like you see how he's sitting, how he holding his hand. He holding his hand like this, like that. Okay, I see how he holding it. That's like probably like a sign for a secret order. And then he got some kind of scroll right here on his thing. But you see Imhotep, Khufu, all of them sit just like this on the statue. But this go back for Ningazita, who was one of the sons of Tahuti. And they the ones that was setting up the schools of the alchemy, where they were teaching. Keep in mind, alchemy, right? Is dealing with chemistry, magnetism, science, pretty much science, right? Science and mathematics, the educational system of real knowledge, right? Tahuti and Murdoch them set that up. Keep in mind, Tahuti Ningazita is the author of the Emerald Tablets. Keep in mind. Keep in mind, right? Okay, we got about 20 minutes. We're gonna try to cover the first part of this. All right, so Hudi wrote the MO tablets, right? Now his name they call in some cultures. Keep in mind all these beings. The reason how we got confused is because of the different cultures and the different names they call these people. Like in one culture they call Tahuti Thor, and then they call him Hermes. And they got all these different names. And then like even one of Inky names over here in the North America area, South America, Central America, they call him Quetzalcoatl, right? So these beings were traveling all around these Anunnakis were going back and forth amongst these people who spoke different languages, right? After the incident in Babylon, right? When the nuclear war happened, right? Where it caused people to split up and their language changed, their dialects began to change. Let's keep in mind people talk different everywhere you go. Like in Atlanta, they got their own dialect. In New York, they got their own dialect. In California, New Orleans, right? They got their own dialect. In Jamaica, even though they all speak English, it sound different based on the location and they was in the altitude or the geographical location of the height. Say you might some people up in the mountains, so they talk a little different. Some people down in the plains, so they talk a little different. Right, they talk slow and low, you know what I'm saying? So it got it's the geographical locations play a part in the language and the dialect, right? So across the planet, they got different names for all these different Anunnaki beings. So that's what we confusing it. Like so you might say one this being, that being, and then it's the same being. Like I say, Tahuti, Hermes, Thor. But then you got the confusion comes in when Anunnakis, I mean when Ashtar Command and Enlil side come in, naming they people the same as ours. Like they had their own Tahuti. So it's two Tahutis. As far as like on both sides of the family. They naming the same, they people the same as ours. It causes confusion. All right, but our Tahuti, Ningazita, was instrumental in setting up the mirror work, the shadow work. He the high power alchemist of all alchemists. And he even was involved in the creation of the Homo sapiens, right? And he's the one, he's the master teacher, Tahuti, Ningazita. He the one that really put in the work. Him and Osiris, Tahuti is the most prolific one amongst all the four sons, as far as teaching and putting the knowledge out and the science and the real laying down real science and stone and brick in the mental realm. Right. Then you got Osiris. Osiris was good at assimilating the information to the humans, which is what Satuk didn't like about him. He didn't like that he could teach the humans, and then because some of the Anunnakis wanted to rule the humans and be their god and had them to serve them, and then while other side wanted to teach the humans and then have them to be their own god. Right? That's what we here doing right now. Right? We here to teach you and have you be your own god. Right? So Tahuti was instrumental in setting up the shadow work, the shadow rooms, the mill work, the alchemical equations. Keep in mind, Inky was called a fashioner, Ptah, right? These people set up science and was building technology as well. Different ships. Ptah built different ships for his side of the family. All right, but nigga Zeta Tahuti was setting up all the alchemical equations, the magnetic equations, talking about the chakras, the auras. He did the master teacher on that, keeping the records, right? In the halls of Amenti, right? He says straight to the heart, right? Halls of Amenti. Because you gotta get your heart weighed. Keep in mind, we weighing hearts in ancient Kemet. Like we said, we weighing hearts. You gotta have a certain type of heart to be able to go to the halls of Amenti. Right? Keep in mind Tahuti, the wisdom of Tahuti, all the wisdom of Solomon, all them people, all the wise people that you can name in the Bible and during the time, they all came out of the school of Melchizedek or Tahuti, the school of Tahuti, the green one, the emerald tablets. All right, here's another picture of the emerald tablets. Right, here's another picture of Tahuti doing the work, astral projection, all that Tahuti, man. I'm telling you. This my guy right here, Tahuti. All right. The Emerald Tablets of Thor, the Giza Stargates. Because keep in mind, Murdoch and Tahuti and them was inking them side as the one that built the Stargates, right? The Anunnakis. And keep in mind, Nigga Zeta Tahuti built these pyramids. And these other guys built these to try to emulate them. These smaller ones were built by Khufu now, right? And these right here were built by Nigga Zeta. That's what they don't want to tell you. They say, "Oh, these smaller ones were the no, nigga. These were the ones that they were trying to copy and re-imitate what the Anunnakis built." And Imhotep is coming down from the bloodline of these people, but these pyramids are older than Imhotep. Imhotep was trying to reiterate what nigga Zeta and them built. All right, so they also had niggas either put limestone and a gold capstone on the top. That's where they get the eye, rod, the eye coming down, the big back of the dollar with the pyramid connection. Because the capstone that nigga Zeta had put on there, it was a lot of technology going on in this because they had the me stones in there, they had the different crystals in there to generate the energy, and then they had the granite rock on the bottom with water going across it to generate static electricity to let them up to the crystal so they can power the crystal and send the energy out to the top, this piezo electricity, and then they can pull their crafts over these pyramids and recharge in a couple minutes, less than a couple seconds, really. In some of the crafts, depending on how they was built. All right, so you got the different the pyramids is elaborate. Now I challenge these ancient Kemetic or teachers, right? To if they say that the Africans build the pyramids, then why ain't the Africans building pyramids right now? Africans build the pyramids. Now the Africans did build pyramids, and eventually the first person to actually build a pyramid or have it built was Sneferu. The first one to actually build a real pointy pyramid was Sneferu. Beside after Nixita. So the actual only human, the actual build the all way pointy pyramid is under his leadership was Sneferu after Nigazita. Keep that in mind. Right. So Nigazita and them built all this. And even the first face of the Sphinx was Nigazita in commemorates of him building the pyramids. And then they later changed it to Osiris face, right? After Osar got murdered. So keep in mind, this is what it looked like. This is what it would look like originally. Some of that, the ones, the 3 ones that got look like the step stones, they took all the limestone out the outside of it, walking it up. They built like a letter, a ring around it to make it look like a stepstone pyramid. They was chiseling all the limestone put on their mosque. Right. Also, keep in mind, Tahuti traveled over to the great beyond. That's what the Anunnakis call the great beyond over here, and he began teaching them. And he set up the school over here called the City of the Gods, where they built pyramids over here, and they had schools over here where they were teaching the humans. And they set up, they had, and actually, so Tahuti actually was set up first over in ancient Kemet, right? Because everybody was saying that he set up over here, but they really was going back and forth, right? But he actually set the pyramids up in ancient Kemet first, and then he came over here and set up this side, the city of the gods, and started teaching over here, right? So they was going back and forth. Because keep in mind, these people had UFOs, helicopters, submarines, yachts. They were going back and forth, right? The city of the gods, where they was over here teaching. This is what it looked like, the city of the gods, the Tahuti set up. This right here look familiar, right? If you look at the Vatican, we look and it had an obelisk right here. Look at how the Vatican set up. Does it look familiar? Right? We can put that picture up there. We forgot to put that picture next to it so we can show you about the Vatican and who the Vatican really copied. Here go another picture of it. So where the Vatican get this from, man? Okay, the city of the gods set up by Tahuti, the school of the birds. Look at this. They used to be able to land their ships right here on the top. Here's another picture. City of the gods. Okay. Here's another picture. Right, the city of the gods. They gotta make everybody white, right? All right. So this is what that like. If you go back and some people say that it had that city that Tahuti set up there, the city of the gods. It had a fifth dimensional aspect to it too, where you can go into higher dimensions, and it had portals. Because keep in mind when we say alchemists and talk about witchcraft, and we watch these rich witch movies where they have this hidden city in the woods where if you walk through this certain vortex, you go into a whole nother city, just like they show you on the Smurfs. Right? The Smurfs had a whole hidden city in the woods. So it's like kind of like the same thing when they talk about the city of the gods. Keep in mind they used to have they still got these crop symbols. Like the bird one represent the school of Tahuti, the school of the birds. So to let incoming extraterrestrials know that they were gonna be had this school going on here, they had these different crop circles. They got different ones. Right here goes the ones the school of the birds, the Thunderbird school, right? School of the birds. All right, we just showed you that one. There go another one. All right, you see all these crop circles. All right. And these right here just is encoded symbols, and the extraterrestrial will see this, be able to scan this and see that hey, it's a lot of this is a whole like a disc, like a CD disc. They got like a CD disc might have 15 and 25 songs on it, right? So this chip, right? So this disc got about 15, 25 different books encoded into this information. So when the extraterrestrial scan this, they can see, okay, this the school is going on. That's all the information in that school put into this symbol. So it's way more advanced. Crop circles are way more advanced than you think, right? Crop circles. There's a whole bunch of them all around the planet because there's different schools going on here. Look at this. Look at the elaborate design in that. All right, here goes some more crop circles. All right, we got crop circles right here. Check this out. Look how elaborate that is. There's a whole bunch. Look at the feathers up. Right, letting you know. They letting you know on the land what's happening. These extraterrestrials, because a lot of them live here. A lot of you people are their family members. Right, we building up to the pre-dynastic period though. Right. Okay. So Ningazita Tahuti began setting up this advanced technology with these pyramids. And that's more pyramids than you could count on the planet. Some of them underwater now due to tectonic plate shifts and different wars that took place. Right, we talked about that part with the capstone on the pyramid. Ningazita had that on there. Right, we getting down to the Netarus or the Neteru side of the family coming down with Inky. Keep in mind, at one point they left and then they went to Orion and then they came back. When they came back, that's when Murdoch took over and started doing stuff. We're gonna get into that part too. But they used to have gold capstones on these obelisks because this right here wasn't just a statue or something. It had all of our stuff was all ancient technology. They ain't telling you that part. A lot of our stuff was ancient technology. Right. So here's a pyramid like all over the planet. This right here, like I think in like Canada somewhere. Or you might see some mountains like this and it's broke down because they might be. What if this pyramid right here is older than the ones over there? You got to think about that, man. This right here pyramid might be older because they was built. We were building mounds, the mound builders, right? And Tahuti was the one that was doing the medicine, the chemistry, the DNA slicing, and all that. He was the man with it. That's why he's one of his symbols. Tahuti was the man with the DNA slicing. Here goes a pyramid underwater right here. And then this right here in some lake over like on the west coast of America. But they ain't telling us. Here's another image of it from the top, right? Here's some pyramids underwater in another location. What they ain't telling you, man. Here's a underwater city because remember, Inky had a city set up over in South Africa, under half underwater, half on top. Remember, we told you the Hermes principles, the Hermetic principles. All right, what we got right here? Yeah, so keep in mind the school of Tahuti, the school of the birds, right? We're gonna get down to the ancient Kemetic connection, Thor, right? They got these different the alchemists of the gods, right? He's the number one alchemist, Tahuti. All right, right? The builder of the pyramids. It's different high level energy, right? And I think we're gonna leave. Okay, yeah, we're gonna talk about this part. So Tahuti also set up Atlantis. Tahuti and Mother Ninti, they set up Atlantis as a laboratory, and it was like a landing pad too for the spaceship they had, which was a laboratory, like I said, the size of Manhattan. Um, and they set it up. Here's a map. It was supposed to be in the naval part of the Earth, the center part, like going in the middle of the Atlantic, right? So it was actually a center point for a school for trading and teaching pretty much everything and DNA. It was a whole bunch of advanced stuff, more advanced going on then than it is now, because extraterrestrials here and they here now too, but they hiding from certain people, right? So Atlantis, right? This was a landing pad or this island type. Here's with the actual ship that was landed on the pad. They talk about this in Stargate movie, right? In the Stargate movie, right? That's what it looked like. The layouts. They actually made the Stargate Murdoch. We'll get into that later. But here's another map where Atlantis was right here, right before. Now keep in mind before this happened after the Titanic plate shifts, right? This happened when the split happened, and then because it happened every certain amount of years, it's about to get ready to happen again when the San Andreas fault is finna split. Well, it's gonna become an island. Parts of it's gonna fall off, right? But it was a city right there, and it was a city over here called Mu, right? See Mu, right? So they had like certain thing set up where they went across here. See the city of Mu, this sunk. The only part that's left is the Hawaiian part. At least that's what they tell us. So we never sail this way, right? Then you got Atlantis, right? That's right here, right? And they say that they sunk that part, right? And this what Tahuti had the school set up in. And to keep in mind, the Anunnakis was going back and forth from ancient Kemet to over here teaching Tahuti. All right, we're gonna close it out right there. But the city of Atlantis ended up getting like here go what it looked like before it split. But when the split happened, you got ancient Kemet, right? But we're gonna leave it off right there. But to make a long story short, we're gonna come back on part two and finish the Tahuti part off. But we getting into the pre-dynastic period, breaking it down on going down to the guard minutes. So we want to keep it under 50 minutes because we know the people attention span on watching the tapes is pretty short. So we don't want to go over the time. So this is part one. Tune in tomorrow for part two. We gotta keep it clean, YouTube, as always. Right? Let's see. Peace. Shalom Aleichem. Assalamu alaikum. Hotep. I should divine love throughout the balanced universe to all. Wadu.